Hey guys, and welcome to the Chamber of Secrets reading vlog. It's been a bit of a while since I have read the first book, but I'm finally getting around to reading the second book. Okay, so first chapter, I'll just kind of get everyone on the same page and get everyone up to date with where we are at the moment in the story. So it's the summer holidays after Harry's first year at Hogwarts, and he is now back at home with the Dursleys, who, by the way, forgot his birthday because they're absolutely ugly people. There's not actually that much that happened in the first chapter itself. It was kind of just like a recap on the first book and the highlights of like what went down between Voldemort and Harry and everything. Harry is just kind of saying, well, he's kind of teasing the Dursleys because he knows how much they despise the wizarding world and like how everything about it just freaks them out. So he's going like under his breath, whispering all of these like fake spells and like mumbling things to like scare them off or something. What happened? Yeah, not much. I think something that was really funny to me was how, so Uncle Vernon has got a business meeting at the house and Harry is supposed to just stay in his room, not make a sound. He's not supposed to exist, not supposed to be there. And while I was reading that, I got so jealous. I was like, oh my goodness, I wish my mum made me stay in my room when there were strangers at our house. Clearly just like my introvert showing. I feel like I should get this off my chest as well, bright and early. This is just a cup of milk. So to everyone leaving the video right now, thanks, it's been nice having you. I haven't finished reading their encounter yet, but when Harry got back into his room, this little guy, Dobby, who speaks in the third person, was sitting and waiting for him on his bed. And okay, so Dobby is a house elf. I'm not sure what a house elf is yet, exactly what they do, where they come from. Don't know, I'm sure it's going to be explained pretty soon, but I want one. He is so cute. He's literally so adorable. He's very emotional. I don't know if they all are, if it's like a trait or something, but he's literally cried 3 times in the 3 minutes that we've known him. Cute. I mean, just look at that little face. Like, oh, cute. Why does Dobby keep hitting his head against stuff? Stop. Okay, so something fishy is going on at Hogwarts and Dobby is like, don't go there, Harry, don't go there. Maybe. So Harry says that whenever Dobby tried to say who the person was who's like trying to plot all these bad, evil things at Hogwarts, he kept banging his head against the wall. So I'm wondering if it's like a truth spell or something that he's under where he can't say the name. You know, like it always happens in the movies. He can't say the name, so he's like, whenever he wants to say it, then he has to like start banging his head against the wall. I don't know, I'm just reading too much into that. Maybe it's the family that he works for that put a spell on him because they're the baddies. The bestest boy is back, Ron. I feel like we all need a Ron in our lives. Just solid friend, that guy. He even brought a flying car. Like, this guy knows how to make an entrance. Okay, so Ron and his brothers just helped Harry escape because Harry was locked in his room at the Dursleys, who basically like forbade him from going back to Hogwarts. And when Uncle Vernon barged into the room and he saw that Harry was escaping, he was like, oh, he's getting away, he's getting away. But like, what I don't quite understand is if Harry is such a burden to them and if they really hate him and they hate the wizarding world and Hogwarts and everything to do with magic, like, why go through the trouble of trying to keep him in your house? Like, isn't that so much more troublesome? Why don't they just send him off to Hogwarts and basically disown him, forget he exists? Like, I don't know. Chapter 3 has been really interesting. Harry is now at the Weasleys' house, and their house kind of reminds me of a mixture between the house in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Nanny McPhee. I'm not sure why, but I keep getting those kinds of vibes. And what I liked about it was this was kind of the first time that we see the wizarding world outside of Hogwarts and like wizards living outside of Hogwarts. So it was really interesting, and I like how they've got all these kind of magical enchanted household items and everything is like a little bit odd, a little bit quirky in some ways. Like they've got they've got like these enchanted magic clocks, and they've got magic cookbooks and the little gnomes that they had to toss over the hedge and everything. So I really hope that going forward we get to see a lot more of the wizarding world in the real world, or like wizards in the real world, if that makes sense. And I see little Jenny has already got a bit of a crush on Harry. They keep talking about this ghoul in the attic at the Weasley's house, but I don't know what a ghoul is. So I'm quickly gonna Google that. Okay. It's a little scary actually. I thought it was going to be like a type of gnome for some reason. I thought it was like a small type of gnome or maybe something like Dobby, but nope. Nope. Ooh. Okay, never mind. That's kind of scary. The name Gilderoy Lockhart has been coming up just all throughout this book so far, and now they're all at Diagon Alley doing their back to school shopping, and he's got a book signing for his autobiography called Magical Me. Very modest guy he is. And I've kind of just got it in my head that he's like the Justin Bieber of the wizarding world for some reason, because they were describing how there's like this big crowd of middle-aged ladies standing outside the bookstore like jostling to get in and to get his signature, and now, yep, that's the picture I've got of him. I mean, it's probably not right. He's probably like a professor, a very well-esteemed middle-aged man or something, but okay, so he's the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. He's replacing Quirrell then. Okay, definitely a middle-aged man professor, academic type of person, and not Justin Bieber. I'm not sure if I missed something, because Mr. Malfoy has just sold a bunch of like dodgy items that he has, because apparently the Ministry of Magic is doing raids, but I'm not sure if they've mentioned what they're looking for, or if they're looking for something or someone. Maybe Quirrell and Voldemort are hiding somewhere in someone's basement or something. We shall see. I know, I can see where this is going. Somehow Ron and Harry were not able to cross through platform 9 3/4. They were running into the wall and then boom, just, you know, solid wall. So Ron was like, it's okay, we can fly the car to Hogwarts. And Harry's like, can you fly it? He's like, no problem. Yes, problem. This is gonna be chaos. Reading about these two trying to navigate the flying car all the way to Hogwarts just kind of made me realize that, yeah, there's a reason I'm a Hufflepuff and not a Gryffindor, because if that was me, I would have probably just sat next to the platform waiting for Hagrid to come fetch me. Or Dumbledore. Anyone, really. Okay, good morning everyone. So what has happened is that Harry and Ron have just made it back to Hogwarts in one piece at least. They did end up crashing into a tree, a whomping willow, and they got kind of whomped by it, and then inside they ran into Snape, and Snape is now very adamant on having them expelled, but Dumbledore said no, it's okay, you'll get a warning, you're not going to get expelled. And the thing is, so essentially in the previous book, in the end of the first book, we kind of established that Snape is not a baddie, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's exactly a goodie either, because for some reason I thought that he likes Harry, kind of. Well, he doesn't hate Harry like I thought he did in the first book, but now I kind of get the idea that he's really not that fond of Harry. So I'm not sure why I'm trying to give him more credit than he's due, because maybe he is still a pretty not so nice guy. Just Professor McGonagall raised her wand again and pointed it at Snape's desk. A large plate of sandwiches, 2 silver goblets, and a jug of iced pumpkin juice appeared with a pop. That's gonna be a no from me. Iced pumpkin juice. Yuck. I'm just really happy to be back at Hogwarts again, and the whole gang has been reunited in the Gryffindor common room, and Hermione showed up, and immediately like her mum mode was activated, scolding Ron and Harry like, where have you been, what have you been doing, how could you be that irresponsible? But it's fine, because it's kind of like, when you know and understand her as a character, you know that that is just how she expresses her friendship, and that's how she shows that she cares, so it's fine. Yeah, and it just kind of makes me feel relieved for Harry, because I know that this is his safe space, this is his home, and this is where, you know, where he feels happy and where he feels okay. So I feel so parental. It's like my maternal instincts for Harry that's like, yes, okay, he's okay, I can breathe again, he's gonna get proper food and he's got his friends and he's gonna be okay. No, I can't actually deal with this. This is making me so hungry. Like, do they have to explain all the food in the feast and at the Great Hall, and I just, no, please don't. To be fair, not everything sounds that appetizing, but toast and eggs and bacon and, well, that's all I can see now. That looks nice, but still, like, really. I am so skeptical of any new characters that are introduced. I can't trust them. I feel like I can't trust them after that little stunt Draco pulled in the end of the last book with Quirrell. Do you know what I'm talking about? So now with Professor Lockhart, I'm like, my suspicions, I don't, So he was just talking to Harry, and he told Harry that, wait, okay, let me just get this straight first. He's really like kind of an attention seeker, right? And he loves publicity and he loves being famous and getting all the attention and wada. And so now he walks up to Harry and he's like, oh, you know, it was like, I get it. I get why you flew the car, because, you know, you had a taste of publicity, you know what it's like being famous, but it's like, you know, just wait, my boy, your time will come, whatever. And he's kind of, what did he say? He's like, what he did with Voldemort last year was like, yo, that's cool, you know, but it's not quite as cool as winning the Witcher Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award 5 times in a row like I did. But it's a start, Harry, it's a start. So I'm like, you know, it could be that his heart is in the right place and he's just a bit like, but he's sincere and he's authentic. Or it could be that maybe I'm detecting a slight jealousy there for all the attention that Harry's been getting. So, Guys, he really is the Justin Bieber of the wizarding world. Hermione even put little hearts on her timetable next to all of Lockhart's classes. Okay, but can Lockhart be any more in love with himself? Like, no self-esteem issues here whatsoever. I'm starting to understand that Draco is a lot more of a complex three-dimensional character than maybe I would have thought before. There's this scene where it becomes very obvious that he has now made the Slytherin Quidditch team because essentially his dad bought him a spot on the team by buying everyone brand new broomsticks, and just the way that he reacted when Hermione pointed this out was very telling, I think, because it said that he had this smug look on his face and it just suddenly faltered completely, and then he lashed out at Hermione and he called her a mudblood, which is apparently a very not nice thing to say. And it just kind of got me thinking about how when we saw his dad a bit earlier, like his dad just really appears to be the type of father who's not very loving and kind and supportive. Like, he's really mean and controlling and maybe a bit hot-headed and a bit hot-tempered. And so I started to think that, you know, maybe a lot of the way that Draco appears and the way that he treats other people and interacts with other people kind of as this bully, this cruel, malicious, just horrible kid is not really the way that he is, and that he's actually a very sensitive person inside. I think it's just kind of the way that he was raised and the way that he has to behave and live at home. I don't know what his mother is like or the rest of his family, but his dad, at least, I think that his dad puts a lot of pressure on him, and I think there's a lot of expectations on him in terms of how he's supposed to act and behave and what he's supposed to achieve and what their family stands for and everything, like the power they have and the money and the image and the status and everything. So I think it's more, the way that Draco appears is more a defense mechanism that he's kind of built up to make sure that he's the one inflicting hurt and not the one getting hurt, because I think his dad is the type of person who's really not particularly hesitant to be cruel and a bit mean in the way that he approaches his relationship with his son. You know, he will just say something really ugly and really mean to Draco, and I think Draco's been hurt by it so much, and now, like, growing up, he's kind of found this way of putting up a facade, this front, to protect himself and to not appear that he's sensitive and he's weak or vulnerable. So I don't know, I think I'm kind of starting to feel a little bit sorry for the guy. And again, hope I'm not wrong and not giving him the benefit of the doubt, because I seem to do that with all of the characters. There's a random little reference to the Back to the Future movies on page 126 where Harry has got detention with Lockhart, and then Lockhart says, "Great Scott, look at the time." And I'm pretty sure that is Doc's catchphrase in the movies. Great Scott. So that was quite funny for me to read. Okay, so I'm just about halfway into the book now, and this is where things are going to start happening. The big plot reveal has now happened. So Ron, Harry and Hermione went to Nearly Headless Nick's death day party. And then afterwards, on the way back, they heard this strange voice that was kind of leading them to this corridor. And then on the wall of the corridor in blood, there was written that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened, and like, ton ton ton, beware, you know. And then after that, we got a bit of a history lesson on Hogwarts and how it was founded. So like more than 1,000 years ago, the 4 most powerful, greatest, most famous wizards came together and they built this castle where they wanted to train young potential wizards. And then the 4 houses were named after these 4 wizards. But then the Slytherin guy, he said that they should be more selective about who they let in. They shouldn't let in the muggle-born, like the half-blood wizards. Only the pure-blooded wizards should be allowed to study at Hogwarts. And then there were like some disputes and disagreements, and eventually the Slytherin guy left. But now there's this legend, this myth, that he created the Chamber of Secrets before he left, which is kind of like the secret chamber, voila, and there's like a monster or something in it, and then one day his heir is going to come and open the Chamber of Secrets, and then whatever is inside it is going to take care of all the non-pure blooded wizards at Hogwarts, so that, you know, he can have his dream wow pure-blooded wizarding school, which is kind of, I mean, at this point it seems like the only reason that Slytherin exists as a house is because they need to be bad guys in the story. Please don't hate me for saying that. Sorry to all the Slytherins. You can probably tell that the background is a little bit different. I got back home yesterday. I'm officially on holiday, semester is finished, life's good. In terms of the story, so Harry is in the infirmary because he was playing a Quidditch game and there was this out of control bludger that was targeting him, broke his arm. Long story short, he's in the infirmary and Dobby, little Dobby, came to visit him. And so it turns out Dobby is kind of like a self-appointed, designated fairy godmother type of thing to Harry. He is trying really hard to get Harry as far away from Hogwarts as possible by any means, even if it means, you know, sending Harry back home in pieces, because so he confirmed accidentally, he let slip that the Chamber of Secrets has indeed been opened. It's not a myth, it's a real thing, and for some reason, somehow Harry is in a lot of danger because of it, which, yes, is a little bit strange because, like Harry said, he's not muggle born. He's supposed to be from a wizarding family, I guess, like a pure-blooded wizard, so it's kind of weird that, you know, he would be in danger because of it. But anyways, we will see why that is, I guess. And while he was laying in the infirmary, Dumbledore came up and he was carrying a statue which was Colin, Harry's fanboy, and he had been petrified, which essentially I think is like being turned into a statue. You know, things are happening at Hogwarts at the moment. But guys, Dumbledore is the actual cutest living embodiment of the grandfather of Santa Claus ever to exist. He was on his way to make himself some hot chocolates and he was wearing like a fluffy nightgown and a nightcap, and I imagine some really fuzzy fluffy slippers as well, and he is just the cutest ever. Also, I forgot about this now, but the chamber had been opened before, and so the current thinking is that it was Draco's dad who opened it the first time and now it's Draco who opened it this time, but I'm sure it's not going to be quite as simple, right? I've got a much better understanding of Lockhart as a character and I'm not worried about him. I don't have any suspicions about him anymore. I don't think he poses any real threats or any real danger to anyone other than his ego, maybe. The thing about him is, it's like, I think there's a lot, he's a very insecure guy, you know, because he's not the best wizard and he keeps messing up and he's actually just, you know, he's no good at it actually. And so to make up for that kind of the insecurities that he's feeling about it, he tries to sell all of these grand adventurous stories about himself and his life and all of his achievements and all of these really crazy things and adventures that he's done but he's just an insecure guy. And actually, I don't mind it. I find him really funny and entertaining. It's like, when he lacks in skills and talent, he more than makes up for in just sheer enthusiasm for everything he says, everything he does. He is just so enthusiastic and so bubbly and bright, and it's okay. I actually kind of like him. I think he's got a soft heart underneath all of that, like, super melodramatic, self-absorbed facade that he puts up. Shame. You know, I think I feel a bit sorry for him actually, but I like him. I do. Snape, on the other hand, he confuses me. I can't figure him out. It's like he'll do something and it's so messed up and it's so wrong and bad and terrible, and I'll think, okay, he's a baddie. There's no question about it. And then he'll do something else and I'm questioning it, and I'm like, I can't decide whether he's actually out to harm someone and to cause trouble, or whether he just has a very big flair for the dramatic and he likes to stir up some unnecessary drama and trouble and likes to entertain himself. So I don't know when it comes to him. Like, classic Snape move, pairing Harry with Draco for the dueling practice thingy that they're doing. He knows about the bad blood between those two. He knows they can't stand each other, and yet he's like, yep, this is a great, fine decision, let's do it. Why? Okay, so Harry is now being framed and people are saying that he is the one, the Slytherin heir, and he is the one who is petrifying wizards, like the Muggle-born wizards, left and right, when actually he keeps finding himself at the wrong place at the wrong time, coincidence after coincidence, and now he's kind of in a tight spot. But the whole thing just made me realize that if he is being framed, then it would be a really, really clever person or a group of people behind this whole plot, because like that's a lot of effort, you know, that's a lot of brain power to pull off something like that, and it won't be just Draco. I mean, Draco's just a kid, right? So he won't be able to pull something like this off. It has to be like some really clever people or people with a lot of power who somehow lures Harry just to the wrong places all the time whenever they do something nasty. So, well, that kind of reminds me of, remember in the very beginning there was this voice, this bodiless voice that was telling Harry to go to that corridor where the writing was on the wall. So it may be just someone making sure that Harry ends up stumbling across the crime scenes all the time. But who? That is the question. And something that's really random as well is whenever someone is getting petrified, they always mention that there are a bunch of spiders trying to crawl away, which I have no idea what to make of that. I can't think of any connection between a spider and what even is going on. I don't know. And you guys, we see so little of Hagrid in this book. Like, he just appears for 5 seconds on the page, does something totally Hagrid-ish, full of passion and just raw, and then he's off again doing who even knows what he is keeping himself busy with in this one. He's my favorite character. Why do we see him like never in the story? True, he did mess up little bits in the first book, but come on guys, bring Hagrid back. See, I'm telling you, the voices. I was really looking forward to some more Christmas scenes this time. In the previous book we got like so much details and descriptions of the feast and the Great Hall and everything they did that day, and I said it was so magical and cozy and just perfect. So I was looking forward to some more of that, but we got like half a page of like Christmas festivities, and then they decided to put their plan with the Polyjuice potion into action tonight. So the gang now, they are turning into Draco's friends so that they can try to interrogate him and to get some answers out of him about just everything that's going on. And do you know what's actually kind of surprising was the fact that the Gryffindors didn't know where the Slytherin common room or their dormitories were. That was a bit strange to me. Like, they've already been at Hogwarts for a whole year and they don't know where the Slytherins live. I didn't realize that the houses were so separate and that they kept to themselves so much that it was like you don't even know where they live. Do they not make friends with the other houses at all? Do they only interact with them in class and then like not see them at all, and they don't go visit them in their common house or their common room? Like, they don't mix at all? It is Saturday morning and I've been up since 6:30 because for some reason I woke up and then I decided now is the time to start baking banana bread. So that's what I've been doing this morning. But other than that, I haven't been productive at all. I'm still in my pajamas, still need to get dressed and get ready for the day. But I still need to update you guys on what I finished reading last night. I finished with the chapter that I was busy with, but then I just kind of went to sleep. And Harry and Ron pretended to be Crabble and Goyle, and then they had this kind of talk with Draco, and it was revealed that he is not the Slytherin heir. In fact, I don't think the Malfoys have anything to do with the Chamber of Secrets, not his dad. I don't think I think it's not them, which is kind of a bit of a problem now because we're straight back to square one and I have no idea, no guesses, not even a small inclination as to who the heir might be, except... no. I was just thinking about Moaning Myrtle, but it's no. Honestly, Moaning Myrtle though, like what is the point of her? I get that she's supposed to be like the annoying character, but she's constantly everywhere and she does nothing. I don't understand what she's supposed to contribute to the story, what her role is supposed to be. I don't know, what is the general consensus on Moaning Myrtle? Are you guys a fan? Do you guys like her? Does she actually stick around for the rest of the series, or is it just kind of she's just here in this one book and then we don't really see much of her again? Let me know, because yeah, I'm not too fond of her, to be honest. This is good. So it's Valentine's Day and Lockhart has taken it upon himself to try and cheer everyone up, to try and lift the spirit of the school after just like everything that's been going on. And so he goes all out. Like he decorates the Great Hall with everything pink and sparkly and glittery and heart-shaped confetti and like the whole 9 yards. And he makes the dwarves dress up like little cupids running around. And I can just, the whole time, I can just picture Snape's face so well. Like this is probably the most un-Snape-like thing that I can imagine. He is just not here for it. Just The only teacher that I can kind of imagine maybe slightly enjoying it is possibly Dumbledore, but the rest, like these lovey-dovey things, it's just not, I can't even, it doesn't fit with anything. Like Hogwarts is just not really the place you go to find love, right? Are there even any couples that we've seen? Obviously I know that there will be couples, I know who ends up with who, but just it's not the most romantic setting. Well, it could be, it could really be, but I think it's just, you know, it's always so crazy and there's always something happening. So maybe when things are like normal, there's no drama, there's no monster, no chamber of secrets, no one's trying to kill anyone, it might be a very romantic place. But gosh, Snape. But then again, don't you think that all Snape really needs is a bit of tough love, like a really strict, nice but strict lady friend? I can't even imagine it though. Oh my goodness. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely don't want to volunteer myself for that role. Heck no. Snape would be the most high maintenance boyfriend ever. No, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, so Harry had found this diary, right? It belonged to like Tom Riddle or something Riddle. And he was at Hogwarts 50 years ago when the chamber was first opened. And then by some really inventive cool magic, the diary kind of sucked Harry into the guy's memories, and so he saw like firsthand how everything happened, how the guy, this Riddle guy, had caught the person who opened the chamber the first time. Sorry that this is a bit like all over the place, but my mind is still trying to catch up with everything. And then it was Hagrid. But that can't be. Surely Hagrid is not... I did not imagine Hagrid being older than 50. How is that possible? Hagrid isn't that old in the first place. In the second place, Hagrid was a Slytherin heir, but Hagrid is the least Slytherin person I can think of. This doesn't make any sense. Remember how when I was reading the first book, I was saying how Hagrid really loves animals, but he keeps choosing the wrong types of animals to give his love and affection to? Classic. Classic. If it's true, because here again we see Hagrid with his whole heart and soul defending the monster that was in the chamber, even though it killed a person. And Hagrid is like, no, he would never. I still just don't think it's true though. Maybe Hagrid isn't the one that opened the chamber itself. Maybe he just somehow stumbled upon the monster that was in the chamber, and then Hagrid, being Hagrid, felt like this surge of love and motherly instinct kick in, and he was like taking the animal under his wing and took care of it. And then he just kind of got framed as being the Slytherin heir that caused all the trouble. Maybe he was trying to put the monster back into the chamber. No, guys, I'm really gonna go all out. I'm just gonna defend it was not Hagrid. It wasn't him. No. Someone made a mistake. Right on the next page, it starts with, they'd always known that Hagrid had an unfortunate liking for large and monstrous creatures. And what that means, friends, is that my theory is not far-fetched after all. Can you guys imagine how different things would have been if they had Google at Hogwarts? Because now whenever they have a question about something, Hermione always has to run to the library and spend hours and days scouring these massive, huge, old magical books. They would have been the most efficient wizards ever. You guys, Gryffindor was supposed to play against Hufflepuff, a Quidditch game now for the cup, but then it was cancelled because Hermione got petrified, which is like, it's fine, whatever, but I'm a Hufflepuff, that's my house, and I want to learn about it, because we never really have any interactions with other Hufflepuffs. We don't see their house, and I'm like, oh, that was my chance. And I don't know if this is a stupid question, but why is Hermione a Gryffindor and not a Ravenclaw? Because to me, she's just she's the epitome of the perfect Ravenclaw. I mean, I guess, sure, you can be more than one, right? So they sort you into the house that you're strongest in, but she's like Ravenclaw. And okay, so Dumbledore and Hagrid has now been removed. They were taken away. Now it's all up to Harry and Ron to solve everything and to fix everything. And Hagrid told them to follow the spiders. They will lead them to stuff. You see, I knew something about the spiders somehow. Chapter 15, you guys. It's where it's at. Okay, two things. Number one, Ron and Harry followed a bunch of spiders into the Forbidden Forest, and it led them to Aragog, the leader of the spider clan. And can I just say, the whole time while I was reading this chapter, I swear I could feel like things running up and down my legs and just my whole body. It was just tingling, and it was like checking for spiders, and oh my gosh, I absolutely despise spiders. They just got too many dang legs. I can't. And second of all, Aragog then revealed that I was right. Hagrid is innocent. He never opened the chamber. It was all just a miscommunication. No, misunderstanding, that's the word. Hagrid was actually taking care of Aragog in the castle, and then people thought Aragog was the monster in the Chamber of Secrets, but it was not. You see, I'm loyal to my favorites. I never once doubted you, Hagrid. When you think about it, Harry, Ron and Hermione are actually such a good, well-rounded, compatible trio. I think they're very different, right? But they complement each other so well, and they play off each other's strengths and weaknesses really, really well. Like, to me, I think Hermione is she's the brains, she's the logic and the wisdom and the knowledge, and she brings the information. And then Harry is the body, he's the action doer. So if there's something that needs to happen, something that needs to be done, even if it's scary or if it requires a lot of courage or something, he doesn't hesitate. He goes and he gets stuff done. And then with Ron, it was a bit tricky for me, like, to think for him, because I didn't want to just write him off as the funny guy or the sidekick, you know, because he's so much more than that. And so I think, to me, he's the heart. He's like, he brings the passion, he brings the soul, and he's the glue kind of that holds them together. He's the mayonnaise, you know. And so yes, I just think they're so good for each other, and they're very good to each other as well. I think that's why they are so close to each other and why they are, you know, such good friends. Case in point, so Ron and Harry were on their way to go do something. They wanted to go talk to Moaning Myrtle because they thought that she might have some information. And then on their way there, they got sidetracked and they ended up in the infirmary next to Hermione. And then they saw that in her hand she was holding like a folded piece of paper, and then it turned out to be a page from a book that she'd ripped out. Basically, she'd solved the riddle. She figured out that the monster is a type of big snake, and it lives in the pipes, like in the walls and things. So brain check, action, it's coming. And Ron, he's bringing the spirit. I don't mean to blow my own horn now, but I knew it. I saw it coming. I knew as soon as Professor McGonagall said that a student had been kidnapped and taken into the chamber by the Slytherin heir, I knew it was going to be Ginny. I knew it. She knows something. She almost told Ron and Harry as well, but then she got interrupted. So the Slytherin heir probably knows that she knows something, and then he kidnapped her to keep her quiet. Oh. Okay, that's what's up with Moaning Myrtle. She's the student that died 50 years ago. I actually didn't make that connection, but I need to keep reading because the boys are on their way into the actual Chamber of Secrets, and it's gonna go down now. It turns out Lockhart is actually just the biggest coward. He was trying to run away, trying to sabotage the mission, and everything he wrote in his books, well, we knew this, of course. was a lie, and he just like stole other people's stories and then pretended that he was the one that did everything. And I feel so stupid now because I said that, you know, I can overlook his flaws and he's just an insecure guy and it's what's inside that counts, like he's probably got a good heart. And now I'm like, no. Please tell me it's not Tom Riddle. He's not the Slytherin heir. Why is he in the Chamber of Secrets? I don't want it to be him, I really don't. I hope there's a different explanation for this. Harry's brain seemed to have jammed. Yeah, mine too. I need to reread this. I've got too much to say now, I don't even know where to start. My head is all just confused and bumbled and there's so much information in my head right now, I don't even know how to sort it out. So this might be a bit jumbled and all over the place, but I'm going to try to just get my thoughts out. I'm still in the middle of the chapter, so if things haven't been resolved yet... Okay. I didn't want it to be Riddle because I felt like we haven't been exposed to him enough. I was expecting it to be this huge plot twist, this reveal of a character that we knew and that we trusted. I was even thinking, you know, it could possibly still be Lockhart or someone like that. Someone that, you know, we've been exposed to a lot and we know this character. So I thought, okay, don't let it be Riddle because that would just be a little bit too random. And then he started talking about how it was Jenny. So Tom Riddle poured himself into the diary. No, Jenny poured like herself into the diary kind of, and then that fed Riddle so that Riddle could become whatever. Basically he used Jenny as like a tool, as a device, a body to do his dirty work and to be the heir of Slytherin and to cause all of the trouble around the school. And then alright, okay, so now it was revealed that Riddle is actually a younger version of Voldemort, which is just ridiculous, crazy. My brain is breaking right now. But it's not like the real Voldemort in the flesh, it's a memory of him that he preserved in the diary and now he's there in memory form, not real life form, but like, I'm so bad at explaining things. Okay. Wait, did I say everything that I was supposed to say? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know, you guys. Well, this is slightly yucky. Voldemort sent the big snake after Harry now to fight him, to kill him off, to finish him. And Dumbledore sent a phoenix and the sorting hat to help Harry. Don't know exactly what the sorting hat is supposed to do, but whatever. The phoenix then went and like poked out the snake's eyes. Now he's blind. It's a bit gruesome. So the sorting hat is also like a conjuring hat and it gave Harry a sword to... what's the gun? A sword. To stab the snake with. Very versatile hat. The snake's dead, Harry's been bitten, but don't worry, don't fear. Phoenix tears, said Riddle quietly, staring at Harry's arm. Of course, healing powers. I forgot. See, Dumbledore, he knows everything. He's like a fortune teller, future teller. He, not a problem. For him, not a problem. Guys, it's the first Harry and Ginny solo moment together alone in a cave, a secret chamber. How romantic. Jokes. Nothing romantic happened because they're still kids, but it's interesting to read it now, knowing, you know, how it all ends, trying to look for little clues and little like hints. That's just the romantic in me talking, I know, don't mind me. But the big chapter is now finished. There's just one more final last chapter left. I think I'm gonna save it for either a little bit later tonight or even tomorrow morning maybe, because I don't want the story to end yet. I'm not ready for it to be over. Well everyone, we have made it to the end of the Chamber of Secrets reading vlog. I actually did end up finishing it last night, but I was too lazy to film anything, so I just wrote some notes in the last chapter, so I'll discuss it with you quickly. So, okay, the last chapter is basically just everything winding down and tying things up. Everyone getting together, checking that everyone's okay, everyone made it out alive, high-fiving, hugging, just finishing everything off. And let's see what I wrote. Okay, the first notes I made was when Harry and Dumbledore were discussing what had happened, and Dumbledore was kind of trying to reassure Harry that he does belong in Gryffindor, and he said, he dropped some more wise words of wisdom. He said, "It's our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." I think this is a pretty famous quote. I think I might have seen it somewhere already before, but yeah, just Dumbledore being profoundly philosophical. I guess like he has one quote in each book, because I remember the one in the previous book as well. So from now on I'm gonna look for his like one-liners in the rest of the books as well. I'll keep you guys updated. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, right, Dobby, our little friend Dobby showed up again, and it turns out Dobby is the Malfoy's house elf. I'm not sure if I actually ended up saying it, but I remember I thought there was a possibility. Something just made me think, I think he's the Malfoy's slave, and then I don't think I actually ended up saying it, but yep, I called that one. Oh right, this is important. So Harry accused, well, it's true, so it's not an accusation, but Harry accused Lucius Malfoy, Draco's dad, of giving the diary to Jenny in the first place at the beginning of the year. And then I was thinking, does Lucius work for Voldemort? Are they in cahoots somehow? I'm pretty sure Lucius is not a very, like, he's not the best, he's not a very noble character, so I'm pretty sure that he, you know, he is involved with some sort of stuff that he's not supposed to. But is he actually involved with Voldemort, or is he just a baddie in his own right? I don't know. Okay, so Harry helped Dobby to become free from his slave contract to the Malfoys, and Dobby said, oh, master through it, and Dobby called it whatever, and Dobby is free, and I just wrote next to it, yay. Yay. The final feast just seems like the best thing ever. It was basically like a huge pajama party, the entire school in the Great Hall having a slumber party, everyone in their PJs, just perfect. That seemed so nice. But the one thing, like, it's not a problem that I had with it, but the one thing that I wish we had some more of was like just a little bit more of the good stuff, because the final chapter is so short and everything like ties up and wraps up so quickly, and I just, you know, I wanna dig deeper into it, and I wanna like actually, because the feast that I was telling you about, it's like half a page, and I was like, oh, I want more. I think that's it. So I guess overall this was a very fun, very entertaining, very enjoyable read. I think if I had to rank the two books in order of how much I liked them so far, I would say first Philosopher's Stone and then Chamber of Secrets, just because somehow I felt like in the first book it was a bit more, maybe the stakes felt a little bit higher, if that makes sense. Like the action was a bit more dramatic and intense, and I was a bit more like on the edge of my seat, and there were more plot twists and more like twists and turns and things that I just did not see coming at all. Whereas this book wasn't predictable, but it wasn't quite as like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Some things I did predict, but I don't mind, because it was just little things. Like I knew from the get-go that Percy was acting weird because he had a girlfriend, and I knew that it was going to be Jenny that was going to be taken to the chamber, and small things like that. I didn't expect the whole thing with Tom Riddle and him being Voldemort and all of that, so that caught me off guard. But I feel like, yeah, the stakes were just a bit higher in the first book. That definitely didn't make Chamber of Secrets any less enjoyable. Just if I had to choose between the two, that would be why I choose the first book. Also, where was Hagrid in this book? Like, come on. All of these pages, and we got maybe 5 with Hagrid. Like, he's my guy. Yep, that is pretty much it for this one. Like I said, I had a swell time reading this book. There's something just so captivating and gripping and enchanting about this world and the characters and the stories that take place there, so I'm definitely looking forward to the third one, and I'll see you guys when I read it. Bye!